next, next time the room when they're having this conversation. Ruin it.
Don't.
I won't do that to you.
I want to meet her though.
Oh no, you don't.
Yeah, why?
I mean, she's quite a character. She's very
She just doesn't care.
eccentric. She's very eccentric.
She just don't care. Yeah, she's just herself.
Yeah.
But if yes.
Bulba always talk about her. Him and Mishari, they always talk about her. I only talk to her once, but because they talk a lot of her, I feel like I know her now.
Yeah.
I heard
I mean,
a
that's
lot
probably the best way to get to know her is from other people. So you don't have to be traumatized yourself, but you can learn from other people's traumas.
Yeah.
I
You
guess
need
so.
That's a good life lesson.
Yeah.
Yes. Next time,
Guys.
Oh my
Bye
god.
bye, y'all. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, good night, you guys.
Stay so I'll invite you. Yeah.
Good night. Bye.
Oh yeah, sorry guys. Bye bye.
Good night.
Now I have to find another room. Oh my goodness me. Oh, okay. There's enough people here.
No, that's what my face. No, I understand what you're trying to say. I understand. Like I said, my demo pick is with a big screen. So I meet big screen. And
How do I decrease the volume in this game? This volume is too high. Audio and graphics.
oh wait, I see that the admin is in Adam. Yes.
That's what it was anyway. Now,
Man, this game has a lot of unnecessary files.
were in support of the guns, right? So I could say if I had 100%, right?
Yeah.
My state, I could say 100%.
Can you hear him well? I think his voice is cutting a lot.
I can hear
Just leave, man.
No, I'm not complaining.
Just leave. You have this area is 50 meters
You
long,
have
so
no.
you can walk around.
You
wherever
don't have to
you
be
want.
rude, man. Calm down.
Yeah, you don't see that we are in a conference.
Stop being rude.
if you wanted to.
Just leave like a little child. Oh, finally I found it.
Show you the protests and processions that are going on in Iran, and you could see a street filled up with 300,000 people, extremely large. The whole city is out in support of their government, right? When you watch that, you could see clearly these people actually want their government.
Okay, Fizz, okay. Yes, there we go. Well, there we go. Because you're saying, that, how can Iran trust their, government, and we cannot trust our government? Explain.
Now, the point here is, they are in support of their government because it's their country. You do not expect them to say, hey, United States, blow Iran to smithereens so that this country doesn't exist again. It's different.
They are not saying that. They are not saying blow it to smithereens. They're just saying blow, up the pieces that were not citizens are. That's what they are saying.
If it's a policy, it's easy for me to say I do not like. I'm non-partisan, right? When you talk about Nigerian politics and all those things, people know I don't take sides. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Ah, you guys are Nigerians.
Corrupt, right?
Oh my goodness.
He's not. He's not.
Oh, okay.
I am Nigerian.
All right.
Yeah. So I do not support any politician, right? So I could say, hey,
this is rude as fuck, that
I
guy.
don't like who's running. I don't like who's running. Yes, I don't like him. I'm not gonna vote for him. I'm not gonna support him. But you see, I'm a nationalist. I don't care whatever it is any other country is going to tell me. Nigeria is always first for me because it's my country. But I don't give a shit about the government, right? Because I know in most cases whatever nonsense they're doing is not to my interest, and I've been on the receiving end of most of these hopeless policies, and we've talked about these things a couple of times and how it has affected my business and so on. But it still doesn't stop me from supporting my country as a Nigerian. I'm still a Nigerian. I'm here. I'm still struggling. I'm still pushing. If you said you wanted to send some Tomahawk missiles to Nigeria today, I'll be on the street to say, hey, don't do that. But don't expect me to come clapping for the president saying, oh, this guy is fantastic. He's an absolute idiot.
No,
right?
listen, Fizz. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, you should fully trust your government. The only thing I'm saying is we should trust our government. And if we don't, if we are seeing, that our things not right, there are, laws in place where we can use our rights to go against it. We cannot say we cannot trust our system. That is a wrong thing to say. That is really wrong thing to say, that we cannot trust our system. Yes, we can trust our system, but can we trust our people? That is another question. But our system, our government system, we should definitely trust, because there has all of the things in place there when you're not in agreement with it, you can get a representative, mostly a lawyer, that can fight for your rights. So that's why I'm telling people, if you are telling that you cannot trust your government, then you should say I don't trust that specific person, but you cannot say I don't trust my government.
Truly, the whole world, right, knows how far and how gruesome the Epstein files have been. Name one single person that has been brought to justice.
What? It is still ongoing case. It's still an ongoing case because it's not that. It has been proven, and
How
it has
long?
because because let's say if there was only one person, like how it is jail time and whatever, and that is punishment.
But you get thing, right? Had an absolutely glorious life. To his office, saying he was barely.
I'm talking about the fact lately.
He was barely even there, to be honest. He was barely
Again, it is. If you have the money, okay, he was rich. That was his luck. That was his luck that he was rich. But wait. He was using a lawyer to, his rights in the blames that he got. I'm not, saying that he was a good person. He was just seeking, the rights that he could have had in the wronging. And him as a bad person, although, we don't agree with him, will defend. He did it with a smart lawyer, and it was all within like that. But eventually, when it goes to a higher court, you cannot buy yourself out. So what happened? He killed.
And you believe
but
so?
that doesn't mean easy way.
You genuinely believe so? Only when you were all absent, they stop people walking out.
We can only go shown, and we cannot speculate things. We don't do that.
No,
We
you,
only
cannot,
do things.
you cannot always go. This is what the government actually does. Tell you this is what
So-
it is, and you have to go with it. It's not mostly that.
So you
It's not
actually
mostly
believe?
the case.
So no, wait. So you actually believe that deputy of sheriff or coroner that came to that jail, that has nothing to do, with the government, whatever. Not, he's just doing his job, like how we did the day before with another killing, that you think that for him, just because randomly, oh yeah, somebody from higher up told him specifically or to. Come on.
If you asked me, right, it's more of a possibility if someone of his status who was supposed to be in jail was actually with bodyguards who escorted him all through the city, and he had the luxury of attending meetings, going to hotels.
I'm sorry, that was a different
so
guy.
on.
It was already proven. It was a
Epstein?
different guy.
Epstein?
You're talking about later. No, it's a different guy because it was also, that a lot of people saying, I
About
see him.
I'm talking about his first prison sentence, right? Before the one where he killed
Yes,
him.
and like I told you, he found loopholes because it was not. No, wait, Fizz. Back
Hold
then,
on now.
sorry,
He was
sorry.
able to find those
I have to stop this. I have to stop this because back then it were only one or two ladies that were going against him, but eventually it was a build up case where it were many yes, and bam, he couldn't win it anymore, and that's but with an occasional case because it happens every day. That when one person goes to against another person, let's say, oh, this is what you've done and that's what you've done. Of
so
course, you will find. And in the
if I have
Netherlands,
to
it
go with
happens
your-
now.
If I have to go with your context, right? So it's fair to say if I molest two ladies, I'm gonna have a slightly lighter jail term than if I molest so
Those
many. So it's
two
about
ladies
the
had
numbers.
difficulties proving it. Those two ladies had difficulties
Was he
proving it.
sentenced or not? That's the thing. Was he sentenced?
He had he was smarter than those two ladies. Unfortunately, that's what I'm telling you. He was smarter
Was he
than those ladies. He was sentenced for a short while, yes, but
And
there
then
was
he was
also in
pardoned,
community
right?
what he
The
had to do.
system,
He had
he was
he had to
pardoned.
also
The
do community
system-
work.
The system, I think the judge at the time, I think granted him a kind of pardon, which still had to go with the books, and for some weird reason it came through. The ladies weren't informed, and all those kind of stuff. For somebody with that kind of influence, right? With that kind of influence, where you can manipulate a whole district judge who even worked for Donald Trump in his first term. You're telling me he doesn't have the influence to do
First-
any other stuff?
Fizz. I think like I said, Epstein was punished. He was punished. He got jail time, and okay, he got jail time, life sentence, a life sentence. It was not a small sentence. Like again, he killed himself. He took the easy way out. What happened after, we don't know. We cannot do speculations. If a coroner tells me he's dead, no. If a coroner tells me he's dead in my eyes. That's it. I'm not going to do speculations like with Michael Jackson and all those others, like Elvis Presley stuff and blah blah blah. No, I don't do that. But what I do is I wait until the full trial is over, because then you will see. Because now people do only speculations. Well, a lawsuit like that can go on for 2 to 5 years maybe, before you will see the result of it. And I betcha that when the result is, then you will see who is being freed of, all those blames and who's not. Because there are now people being blamed for things that we think of, because he knows him. Let's say that I know Al Capone. That doesn't mean I'm, also a criminal, or am I?
Not necessarily.
You understand? No, exactly. So we have to trust our system again. Our, system created the governments again. So we have to wait, and I believe, and I strongly believe, that certain of them, we will see what happens with Donald Trump and all the rest, and then we can talk about that stuff. But from what I'm talking about nowadays is, we have a system placed. Our first city has the same, started with this system, democracy. The first city ever on this world. You understand? So why should we take the trust away in the whole system that is being created by the people itself, for the people and for our future? And because there are some politicians that wants to have, a company within their country, because that politician wants to have a bonus for himself, agreeable, yes, but he also wants, because he did that, the happiness of people, that they can have jobs. At least that the government person is creating opportunities for people within that country, and they don't have that education or whatever. I'm sorry, but it's their own fault. The people should then, see by themselves, like, okay, I don't have the education, but there are these opportunities. Okay, you know what? I'm going to adjust myself to get that opportunity. We cannot expect from the government that they're going to give you all, because then they can better say to you, like, stay at home, we give you money every day. Stay at home, we give you money every day. No, there is a whole system in place where we have to do stuff, and then we see things, that we cannot directly agree with it, but we have to understand the background of it, and then we agree. That's my point of view, And like I said earlier on, like, I cannot give you details about Iran or specifically and this not, but I can give you details about our system.
Exactly. Now, I'm glad you talk more of how things are being done over where you are, which is not a true representation of how things are done across the world, even in the United States as it may be, which is supposed to be, should I say, the hallmark of democracy. In most cases, is truly not the case. So if you are talking about, I don't know much about Netherlands. This is why I can't approach this conversation from your own perspective. It's where I have so much information about what goes in and out things that are on. But if truly a better, should I say, implementation of democracy like I know in really fine, it's good, it's great. But if we have to take a case study of our own country, the United States, honestly, it's an illusion to think that
then I agree.
For the people, or they care so much about it. They care more about the corporation.
Okay, when you say it like that, when you say it like that, okay, then I agree. There is corruption within Africa. It happened in Morocco. It still happens for a small part in Morocco, and all those other countries. It does happen too. Like I said, it is the people that create the corruption. It's not the system, and you can fight against corruption. Like they've done it in Morocco, and in the UK, it also in the past, way long ago, and I'm trying to tell you, like, advocate for, to hate preach, but advocate for the rights that you can have and practice them.
I think you probably getting this conversation to a different angle. right? We're not talking about the extent of corruption and how it's affecting the system. We're talking about government policies, right? So we're tackling this conversation from the government policy point of view, which is exactly what we're talking about all through. If we have to talk about corruption, then certainly, I mean, I know why Africa is where it is. I know why my country is where it is. I've always been advocating for a system where people do things the rest of the country and so on. But right, talking about the policies, and what we've been talking about is how these policies are better suited for the government and their corporate friends, the banks, and so on. These things are not done because they want you to have a better life. It's because they want the banks to be wealthier. They want the billionaires to be wealthier. That's pretty much why they do or put in some of all these policies that they do, you know.
You know, Fizz, I actually, you know, want to show you a movie. It's a bit of a controversial movie.
I don't watch movies. Why? Because they're fictitious.
No, but it's a story of a story. No, it's a.
They say it is. It's still based on fiction.
No, but
probably 1%
when you talk about
99% fiction. So
I understand that people think, you know, that a banker is immediately evil and blah. You know, that people think that. But again, like, you know, that a banker, you know, makes a lot of money. You don't blame him for his education. You don't blame him for education and that he gets a lot of money. That's why he did that education. This is right. This is right. To get that much money because he did that. Yes. And then the second thing is
lobbying the government to ensure that the policies favor him and you get more debt and he gets more money and the system continues that way. Not because he wants you to be wealthier, it's because he wants to be wealthier.
okay, but if I may ask at you, like, what do you think that a banker benefits from getting money like that? If you actually think like
a whole lot.
so you
The more
So-
you're in debt, the more you come to them, the more they keep your money, the more they invest with your money, and so on. It's a chain. I mean, that's why they're banks.
yeah, but
That's how
that
they
doesn't
make
say
money.
that. No, but wait, that's the same as saying like, oh yeah, Area 51 hell was aliens. We don't know. We don't know.
I don't
But what
understand.
we know is that there is a system in place, and that's what we all have to follow. And that
So,
corruption, like that no wait, you thinking
Can you
actually
say, can you say
no,
the
no.
banks are corrupt? No, the banks are not
What?
corrupt. They're
So-
doing what
I
they
think
do.
he's using a
So you
shotgun.
actually thinking that? So you
Sorry?
actually think that a banker?
I thought he said something.
Oh yeah, but you actually think that a banker can, you know, hold all the power?
No, I'm not saying so. The central bank actually does, but a normal bank doesn't. But the policies are made by the central banking system and government. So
No. The only way where they hold their power is just, you know, by, you know, putting up, you know, taxes on the how do you call that, the extra percentages above the prices. But it's not that they're going to tell you like, hey, let's change this policy of
So
your
what
bank.
happens?
No.
What happens when you default on your mortgages? Will they call you back and say, "Hey, truly, you've defaulted. Take the previous one you've paid." And
No. Then it's like this. No, then it's like this. No, then it's like this because they're only involved directly within gold, silver, and all the sources, not in, you know, how you do your businesses.
Okay, so if they do care about you, they should be able to probably tell you, "Hey, truly, since you default, then we're gonna cover you, right? You don't have to go through this stress, you know." Since you default.
Look at
There's
America.
so much-
Look at America.
there's
They are
so
still
much
thriving.
about it.
America is still thriving after, you know, trillions of debt.
And how many people have been left homeless as a result?
From what I hear from the Americans, they say, you know,
Yeah.
that
A lot,
It's not-
a lot, it is. A lot. You can check the homelessness and how it's been increasing and so
Yeah,
on.
but-
and
but-
people can
but
afford,
that's character
to pay
based.
off their-
Yes, that's character based. Those people that you are talking about, that are most of them using drugs. They are using drugs. I'm sorry, but you cannot blame the government for people that are using drugs.
Joe Biden's son Hunter Biden was actually caught smoking weed and stuff like that, but he's still doing very well because his father is extremely wealthy. So I don't think if we have to go by to smoke weed or
No, but that's why they
most
say
of the billionaires,
drugs.
the kids too, are supposed to be home. So unfortunately,
That's why they say
aren't.
drugs is
Why?
not for the poor people.
Because
You know, to have extra
Okay.
pleasure is not for the poor people. That's what it is actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
If you
guys.
can pay
You
it,
have a
you
point
should
there.
do it.
You do
Yeah.
have a point there. I agree with that.
Mm.
But then, it's just unfortunate that when you smoke and then you lose your house, they put it on the drugs. Or how about those who don't do drugs and then lose their houses too?
No, but
what
what about those programs that is created by the government for people, you know, that can stop, that want to stop?
Okay, very good, very good, very good. Let's talk about
Otherwise,
American
you know.
healthcare, right? You see how
Yeah.
terrible their healthcare is, and you're better off dead than treated, pretty much. They could do as much as this money spent on the Iranian war, for instance, is absolutely hopeless. Should have been diverted to more beneficial things for the American citizens, and it would have really changed their lives, especially healthcare. But they rather put it in the war that is probably not going to help the way they want, and the money is all gone down the
Fuck
drain
off.
because, you know.
He's crazy.
So, you know, that money could be put back into the system to help the people, but they prefer to fight a hopeless war.
Yes, but the
It's that easy.
intentions.
We're talking
Okay,
about
but
billions here, man. And we've
Yes.
spoken about the same war issue, right? And you say it's
Yeah.
intentions. And his intention really, Donald Trump's intention, is it Benjamin Netanyahu's intentions, or is it truly the American people's intentions?
Okay,
Right.
Fizz.
If you
I can
asked
tell you
an
this.
average American, he would rather
No,
have
I can tell you
cheaper
this.
healthcare. He would rather have cheaper
Fizz, I can tell you this. Lately I was in a conversation with somebody about the Congress and America, you know, and Donald Trump and the war situation. And apparently, the Congress is not giving Donald Trump, you know, the money to put the boots on the ground. While Donald Trump wants it, Donald Trump wants the boots on the ground, but the own Congress is not giving money for it to Donald Trump to actually do. So who's actually in charge if you say that Netanyahu and Donald Trump are the ones that are deciding to do things?
No, in this case, it was actually Donald Trump that got it wrong, right? I think if he had made that request in about 15 days or so, it likely would have been signed off, but didn't go as planned, like I said. He didn't think through the whole thing. George did the same in Iraq, and in his own case, he was successful, and the funds were actually made available for him to carry on with the war. Just
They
that
gave
Donald Trump isn't smart
no, but
enough.
this time it's changed. This time it changed eventually because they learned from their
Because-
past.
Yeah, because Trump in himself is a dickhead.
No, but that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, even though you think that, you know, a banker or this and, you know, holds the control, it's people that decides.
Do you know how much different already from this? Even yesterday, when Trump that goes talk, right? That's immediately influenced that. Right now is that's an investigation. If he does statement intentionally to influence the stock, and that's a corruption charge, right? If
And
that's the-
to specific, the stock
No.
market, also
Yeah.
the oil market, because
Now, that case is actually being instead. If that's true, then it still shows you that they're using demo to look at what the financial
Yeah.
contract.
yes,
Yeah.
but the president is just one person. He say, you know, one person that's who has to follow all the rules or the law and this and that, you know, and okay, he's one step, you know, more in deciding stuff, but
My work
you know,
is easy because I
he
use
has,
ClickUp.
you
Here's
know,
how I
the
keep track of all my
people-
tasks.
watching him say all those things that Trump is doing now, he's already been impeached 2 times. You know,
And he's
and who?
and he's still,
But still, it means like, how can I say? The people are showing you know, the government, like, we can fight against you. Yes.
And you think if he actually did what he did a few days ago intentionally, he was only stressed? There's so many people who knew clearly he was going to make that decision, and
No, that was I believe that this was just an honestly mistake, because you know he doesn't have a relationship with Iran, and I guess Iran tricked him. I guess Iran tricked him in that.
You take this conversation based on how people have religious conversations with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
They make all of their points. They counter the points. It's mostly down to, well, this is it. This is how God said it. Because this is how the Holy Book says it. Because way to justify what happened.
No, Fizz.
He did what he did. The impact of it, right? Right now, people saw what could have happened, but you is on honesty. Right? I don't think that's an honest mistake. That was probably
but Fizz. Okay, but do you want to fight against America? What is it? Because, like I said, it has to be the people of America that goes against Trump, and using the system, Donald Trump, to give him what he deserves. We as foreigners can do nothing about it. This is people that has to do something about it, because it's their constitution. It's not my constitution. It's not your constitution. It's the American constitution and their rules, and they want to do things. We as Europeans of Africa can agree with it. It's their thing and their rules, and again, the only people that can do something about it are the educated people, and unfortunately, most of the educated people are the people that taking part of Donald Trump's side. But the people that are taking part of Donald Trump's side, they sit at home and not playing against the TV, but lead to those rallies to do and change something. And with do and change something is letting your voice hear, like, hey, this is not right, and let's create a group against, or let's use a lawyer, because you can have a lawyer that can present thousands of people,
This guy we watch on YouTube, I can't remember the name of the channel right now. He always challenges the US congressmen, right? Questions at them, they evade the question. They called the cops on him, right? And he was arrested because he was maybe threatening them or abusing questions, like where you get from who is priority to you, United States, Israel, and those kind of questions. He doesn't hit them. He doesn't do anything to them. And you hear in most cases their answers are absolutely.
Hey, where's everybody else?
Fizz. Oh, can I ask?
I'm just talking
about
the guy's videos, right? I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of his channel. But what I'm trying to say here is he's just an average American who's trying to make an impact. Talk, bring what.
No, he's just one person, Fizz. That's not what I'm talking about. No, he's just one person. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about.
You talked about.
No, what I'm talking about,
right?
Okay.
How it's difficult for you to start such a movement, because if you have the wealthy billionaires, the corporations against you, and you want to start a movement where you don't have the finance, you don't have the media coverage, you don't have the support, it's probably a movement that's going to end before it starts.
It's because then, if the reason for your movement is the right reason, then you will always get the people automatically behind you. So let's say, when it's about taxes, the government raised the taxes from 36% to 50%, and you as a representative, showing that on the internet, like, hey guys, I'm fighting against the raised taxes, blah blah. Who's agreeing with me? Who wants to help me? Believe me that a lot of people will help you out. But if you talk about, like, hey, people of this country, the peanut butter is 20 cents more expensive, then yeah, you won't get as lot as people, you know, that's going to help you. You understand? So it has to be a right reason for it.
So, are you trying to say having to fight against the lobbying groups, these very influential lobbying groups in the United States, is not a true cause? It is. It's just that it's a very big battle to take on a lot.
No. I'm talking about you as one person can do nothing. You as two persons can show your neighborhood, you know, what is wrong. You as 5 people can teach a school. But, you know, you as 100 people can teach a city. You as 1,000 people can change the city. You as 5,000 people, you understand where I'm going? So you need your backup.
But you still back to what we've been talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the same people who don't have the influence, who don't have the support of the government, don't have the support of the corporate organizations. How are they going to start this movement if nobody's going to help them go out there, gather those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, people, 100
okay.
people, gather
I give you
different states.
I give you another example. In France, it was a long time ago, but it's the best example I can give you. And it's money-wise, you know, like you said, bankers, this and that, you know, it was all about that. I can tell you, those bankers, apparently, because you said that, you know, they wanted, you know, the pension raised from 55 to 65, you know. So the government told the people like, hey, we're going to change the pensions from 55 to 65. All those old people, you know, they were almost at that age. They were absolutely not happy with it because they already knew like, hey, fuck those insurance companies, those bankers, because they've done it. They've raised that, you know, thing because they are the ones for it. So what did the French people do? They went all together. Let's know it started like this. One person, you know, brought his opinion on TV, like, this is going to happen, this is not you, blah blah, I'm not against it, oh, I'm against it, blah blah blah. And eventually, you know, that person got it all together to create a group, because they all joined each other, because, you know, same, you know, how do you say that, IDs. And later on, days by days on, it was the whole country that went on the streets. The whole country, you know, was, you know, yes, you know, they you know what they've done? You know what they've done? They, you know, broken all the cars. They kicked out all windows, name it, buses and police cars. So how many tax money space went lost? Or insurance money, I mean?
You're probably unknowingly you've proven the point I've been making since when Brutus was here. The government, right, was willing to increase the retirement age, which was not in favor of the people. It had to take the people to come out to say, we do not want this, before the government retracted on that.
Yes.
Clearly,
yes.
The priority of the government was not the people. If the people didn't protest today,
yes, they did actually.
65.
The priority was the people, because they expected for the people to change.
Was the people?
They thought it was a wrong research that they've done.
Okay.
It's what I'm trying. No. What I'm trying to say is this. Okay, went on the streets. They did it like that, but they could have done it also differently. But it took them a longer time, and they've chosen to, you know, go on the streets and break everything. And it was a smart move.
To increase it or not?
The government was thinking of it at that moment.
I know about this particular event you talked about.
Yeah,
so
they were thinking about it. It was not.
Your point in the end of the day was going to prove my point.
Fizz. They were thinking about it. It was not implemented yet. They were thinking about it, so they brought it to the world.
Let's assume, okay, the people said, oh, all right, let's wait for the government. Maybe they will make a decision that's going to benefit us. Do you think that's ever going to happen?
Can you rephrase it?
That was going to happen? Like, if the people sat back and say, okay, let's wait, we trust the government to make a decision that's going to favor we the people, you think that's ever going to happen?
listen.
be honest,
If
to be
if
honest,
okay,
honest.
to be honest, if
To be
there
honest.
were not lawyers fighting against it before,
Good.
then
To be
I would
honest,
say
Good.
yes, the government would take off the policies. But
Good.
listen about this. Listen about this. Listen about
Okay.
this. Listen. And again, you know that having a pension is a risk. Is a risk. Because it's not money that they're saving up. It's not money that they're saving up. They are playing around with your money. Like they're investing it in gold, then in oil, and it fluctuates
to whose
all the time.
benefit?
And
To whose benefit?
yeah, but you have to understand. You have to understand. Okay,
Whose
let's
benefit?
say. Okay, let's say. Okay, wait,
Okay,
Fizz.
let's assume they care for you so much. They just want to use your money to invest for themselves. You're
Okay,
not going to get anything from the
so
money just because they
so
care so much about you.
okay, so let's say this, Fizz. Let's say everybody pays a fixed price, to the government. Let's say everybody pays 150 a month, for your pension savings, and the government is not investing in it. They're just holding it into the bank. After 30, 40 years, because that's the most time, that the money is being saved up. 30, 40 years. You think that they can fairly divide that money? Do you think that they can fairly divide that to everybody?
Truly. If not because we're in a capitalist system, right? And these guys are just making money for themselves, right? I think the insurance companies are capable of saying, okay, since you pay your insurance every year, right, and you don't use the insurance every year, maybe after 2 years, because we've made so much money from your insurance, you just take a chicken change. They're capable of doing that, but they will never do that. And you might go through your life without ever needing their services, and they just use your money, invest, make so much money, and not even a dime will ever come to you. If you die, you never need their services, but you've always been paying your insurance, right? They're capable of actually paying you maybe a somewhat interest, but they will never do that. They will never do that. They rather have you dead.
Nah,
No,
I see it differently, but you live a different lifestyle, of course. Therefore, we have a different opinion in this.
Honestly,
Yeah,
insurance
but
rather have you
don't.
dead to have to claim your
Yeah,
insurance.
yeah.
This is
But
why
to
when
be
it's
too,
obvious, like in a situation like this where there's a war and the Strait of Hormuz is closed, the insurance companies do not want to cover those ships because it's too risky. However, this is the point where they really need those insurance companies, but nah, they're not going to do that. It's too risky, it's expensive. But right, they need those insurance companies. But no, they're not going to get any service. It's too risky.
Listen,
And
in
I
a world,
learned in the United States,
yes.
Simple this is in the United States, right? I learned during the hot summers, in fact, we cover house fires because there's higher risk of having house fires. So the insurance is doing. I don't know how true this is. I saw it once on the news. I don't know. I don't have first-hand experience. But what I'm trying to tell you is that these guys, when you really need them, they run because they know this is gonna happen. So I'm not gonna cover this.
Now, okay, let's say this, Fizz, because named a lot of, but the thing is, and I'm going to repeat, like, you have people, yes, that are going to take advantage of the system because they know, no, I disagree, and strongly with that. Because I've seen it myself, that there are actually politicians, that care, and
Okay.
now the system again is like is for everybody, the right bonus for everybody and all that stuff. But it depends, like do not blame capitalism for things because an insurance company is a privately owned company, so yes, he can have capitalism. Yes, he can make money. Do not blame a company like that for making money. Do not blame them for making more money from money.
Okay, good. So basically, they don't care about you. Care about me. Is that what you're trying to say in essence? That's the
Listen, when I go at work, I go to work to take care of my money, hourly salary. When you go to work, I guess the same too. You go for a social contact.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No, but,
This guy
no, but
more about them.
the thing is, what I'm trying to say is, okay, they care more
Yeah.
about money,
I think you're
but
gradually coming
there
to the
is,
same point.
but there is still a system. If you is soccer is like a tennis game or whatever, you know, you can eventually. Wait, let me mute this guy. Or even block him. It's even better.
Yes, I do.
So you know, like nowadays, cannot say we trust the government. Say we cannot trust Donald Trump. That's what I'm to say. We cannot trust Netanyahu. That's what I like to say. We cannot trust the system. No, but we have to understand. And if we all understand the system, then we know how to treat it and how to our things. Because nothing wrong with capitalism. If you can make from another person, please. Yeah. And if you don't want to use that product of that person,
after what you just said, definitely, I think there's no more reason to have this conversation because you've just put capitalism, which is what is the foundation for most of these corporate organizations. Because
yeah, but no, face. I'm talking. No, not what we were talking about. I was talking about. No. I said the government, and we are talking about bankers and companies. They have the rights.
That's the essence of capitalism because
no,
they money whatever cost. Even if
I'm not saying
that you're going to struggle. Which is
yes, the companies can. We were talking about government. We are talking about the government trust.
That's the capitalist system. Doesn't only apply to corporate organizations, even government itself, right? And this is what they do, right? Whatever opportunity there's available.
So how many?
This is why they take over as much resources from any country. They don't care about this. Whatever they do,
there were many. There were many in the past. In the past, many bankers or politicians or whatever, the money from they were got even got thrown out of the politics. So it does happen that people
money,
get.
If you that money, most banks always just wars. They provide for all of these things because they're gonna benefit from it.
Good job, boys. Good job.
Yeah, they wouldn't. They wouldn't put so much money into these wars and all these things if they're not going to benefit from it. People die. Care. It's the end that just what they do. If they're going to win, if they create some scarcity that's going to create an opportunity, they take it.
But you act like they are reptilians.
They don't care. How can you have a war that over 20 million people and people keep funding if they care so much about it, right? Have a war going on right now and people that they're hundreds of
because it's not only one person that decides. It's not only one person that decides.
Who decided to fight this current war?
It's a whole country that decides.
Okay, decided to fight this current war against Iran. You tell me sincerely who decided to fight it.
It is the American government because the American Congress gave. Wait, listen, and you can ask an American. American Congress gave the money to Donald Trump. Otherwise, Donald Trump couldn't have done it because Donald Trump also in agreement.
Trump started
he
this
cannot
war without the Congress support. He with support.
But where did he get the money from then?
The money,
because they need money from the Congress.
Always
wait, I'm going
the same way George started against Iran support. That funds was later allocated after I think like 2 weeks when he went back and then he requested for the support. Donald Trump did the same thing. He did the same thing.
Wait.
Wow, that was giving me a headache. Now I can relax.
So I'm almost there with.
Glassy man.
Yeah, man. How are you?
Yeah. Have you been here since the show was
Yeah, I was charging my headset with the power bank, and then it started giving me a headache because it was just on top of me here, so I decided to plug
I
it.
honestly thought you meant our conversation was giving you a headache.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm enjoying listening to you guys talk, right? As long as you're not rude, though.
Okay.
You're cool guys.
So, truly, have you seen how he got the funding for the war? Can you tell me if the
I'm reading it now. Right.
Okay.
VR technology, man. We're floating around. Damn.
Okay, I would like to read quickly, maybe just a line or two, right?
Okay.
If you can hear me. All right.
Yep.
Donald Trump did not get the authorization for a full-scale war during, with Iran, as no formal war declaration was approved by the Congress while he ordered the strike against Iran. So clearly, he didn't get any confirmation. This is more of a personal thing to him. There's always a loophole where they can get to do
So,
this. Like I said, George Bush
wait,
did
let me
exactly
put it
the
in
same
English.
thing.
Wait, I'm going to translate it to English. Wait.
In fact, as I said yesterday, he was seeking for congressional approval for future U.S. military operation in Iran. Even as I said yesterday.
What?
Yes, I watched it yesterday. So, U.S. Congress and Iran, March 2026. Yes, the U.S. Congress has effectively supported Donald Trump's military actions in Iran this year, 2026, by rejecting resolutions intended to limit his powers.
That was after he attacked. You can go check it. The same thing that this guy did. Check it after he attacked.
Okay. White House reaction. The White House praised these outcomes, stating that Congress has
Please check the
reaffirmed the
dates.
president's
Check the
authority
dates.
to commit.
Check the dates.
Wait, so
He
it
exploited the
doesn't
same
say
loophole
any
that
date.
George Bush did.
So, I see begin March, start of Operation Epic Fury in Iran. March 2026 on first of three important rulings in the Senate. So there were three of them, you know, that were trying to perk in, you know, the war power of the presidents.
Okay.
24 March 2026.
These are all very recent
24 March. So 24 March they tried to put a
developments. These are
motion.
all very recent developments.
Yes,
Tried
but it was
before he
53
attacked
against
Iran.
47, so it was
Before
50-50
he
almost.
attacked Iran, check if he actually got the approval from Congress.
Yeah, it says
before he attacked
start March 2026. Start of Operation Epic Fury. And then short after, the House of I don't know how to say it in English, but House of something blah blah blah. Is 219 against 212 against the resolution before. Yeah, so it was also agreed, like with 7 more votes after.
Hold on.
So, but what I'm trying to say is that, you know, there is a system in place. So he's not the only one that can actually do and choose. You see, but he's being the fool, yes, that he doesn't do it, you know, in a way as how the system should be, you know. He say, you know, that it all was for tactical reasons and blah 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 and all that stuff, but
Okay. Do you mind if I read this?
yes, you can say.
Alright. As of March 2006, Operation Epic Fury, military operation launched on February 28, 2026, proceeded without prior congressional approval.
Yeah, that's what I read, but yes, but that's what I read too. But
he did
the
this.
yes, but after agreed, so there he knew
That's what I'm
apparently.
saying. There's a loophole which George Bush equally exploited when he attacked Iran. When you start an operation, like 2 weeks to come back to Congress and convince them, they have to sign this thing you talked about earlier. In case it got the approval, which because the war has already started, which is exactly what George Bush did, and I believe what he's doing. Not because it was something that was agreed on, and the treaty said, "Let's go have a war with Iran." He started shit.
Okay, yeah, that is a possibility. I'm not saying, you know, that not, but yeah, what I'm trying to say, you know, okay, we as a president, we can name all, you know, all the wrongs and rights from each and every president, but what I'm trying to say is that, you know, we have a system that we all can, no matter what. That's what I'm trying to say to people. Because say, you know, they don't trust this, but you should. And okay, let's say that they have to end. Yes, there are wrongdoings and doings in every.
Anyway,
not pro. I'm, you know, pro logic. That's my, you know, like pro logic. You know, we understand, you know, there is not only one side of things. There are 2 sides of things.
well,
It's all like that.
unfortunately, if you have to this time, it makes it look like playing you should on. Well, it makes it that's not really the case, because behind the smoke screen, we see how it's going on.
Yeah.
And most of all these things going on, it's not something we have full knowledge about. It's
Exactly.
mostly to our advantage, to be honest. These are in the long run will actually have a more, should I say, influence, and we have a class, and it's pretty much increasing in the poor. Not those we chose
I agree.
to be that way. The policies make it that way.
Unfortunately,
those who are getting here, those who are middle class are becoming poor, and that's absolutely, and it's clear.
Yeah.
The projections, what the reality is way below projection, way low. And the idea was that capital was going to create this.
On Amazon, follow you for sure.
Yeah, they may look at it.
Yeah,
We can sell
but
long
they don't have
seasons.
What is
Right.
that? A
You know, they
toilet?
put some shit on there, but it ain't no big shit.
Biggest airline can do
Oh,
for you.
yeah.
Unless this actual alarm company contacted him and got a
Right,
told
yeah.
him Because when you upload videos, that is.
What?
Yeah.
What are you
He the
looking
first
at?
one to do this? Is the first one? Because I know there are a couple of trash
No, he ain't the first one.
He's not the first one.
Nah.
Okay, Hottie. Let's grab those protein refreshers and start.
Like all them geeks on YouTube, reviewing laptops and shit. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's why they be having like they be all clean and shit, clean ass table.
Look like a spaceship. What's up, Sassy?
What's up?